Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Hope you're having a blessed day wherever in the world you are. Welcome to our Wednesday night wellness workshop. It's Dr. Eric Deputy. I hope you're having a great day wherever in the world you guys are. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see me and hear me. And I've got a very important message I'm going to share with you all tonight. This is something that is very important for me to share with you. I'm going to dig deep tonight and do some heavy teaching. I'll make you a promise. If you'll engage me for the next 35 to 45 to 50 minutes or so, I'm going to share with you some information I promise can and will change your life. Listen, I'm going to tell you, as a functional medicine practicing doctor now for over 20 years, who has seen literally hundreds of thousands of patients and trained hundreds of doctors across the globe to help their patients, this topic is not the most exciting. It's not the most sexy. It's not the simplest to understand, but it is one of the most important conversations. You guys, you know that I'm all about getting to the root cause of the problem, not just treating the symptoms and not just managing symptoms. I want to help you reverse this. And I'm telling you, I'm going to share with you tonight something that is truly simple to deal with, but it's so complex for us to make changes. And I'm going to talk to you about something, about a hormone, about a chemical, about a compound that is responsible for at least 90% of chronic diseases and chronic illness that we're having today. So normally I don't talk about symptoms. Normally I don't get into the symptom game because I don't want you to be focused on your symptoms. I want you to focus on the root cause. But I'm getting ready to give a presentation in front of a group of several thousand doctors on this topic, and I want to share with you some of my notes and some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with my colleagues on how they can help their patients deal with this problem. And this problem is insulin and insulin resistance. I got to tell you, in my practice, I literally see hundreds of patients every day with all kinds of different issues, but it all comes down to one thing: inflammation and cellular dysfunction. And insulin and the imbalance of insulin is the number one disruptor of all that. So let me ask you a question. I'm gonna read off a list, and this is not an exhaustive list, but this is a big list of symptoms and diseases that are caused by a problem with this hormone that should be naturally produced in your body. How many of you know people, or maybe even yourselves, are dealing with any of these symptoms or diseases? Check this out. Let's talk about metabolic issues and energy problems first. Fatigue, especially after a meal, brain fog, poor concentration, cravings of sugars and carbohydrates, difficulty losing weight, especially around the belly, increased hunger, especially after you've eaten a meal. How many of you know people that eat food and they're like, man, I just got to have something sweet in order to make myself feel satisfied? It's usually an insulin problem. What if you have afternoon crashes, increased hunger, trouble waking up in the morning? That's a big one. Shakiness or irritability if you haven't eaten in a couple of hours, the inability to fast. These are all signs of insulin resistance. I'm going to share with you the secrets that functional medicine doctors like myself train their patients and share with their friends and family tonight on how to help yourself with this. But I got to read this exhaustive list of these symptoms. Let's talk about skin problems. So, did you know that dark patches of skin, especially around the neck and around the face and around the armpits, those are signs of insulin problems and insulin resistance? Skin tags. You ever see folks that get skin tags on their eyes, on their neck, their armpits, or their trunk or their torso? That's a sign of insulin resistance. If you have these signs and symptoms I'm sharing with you, I need you to pay attention to this conversation today. If you have hormonal issues like irregular periods, PMS symptoms that are really bad, heavy menstrual bleeding, low libido, infertility, polycystic ovarian syndrome, erectile dysfunction in men, and estrogen dominance and low testosterone in men and or women, you may very well be dealing with this problem of insulin resistance as well. What I'm trying to share with you is that the root of so many of your problems you have is this very chemical hormone that is wreaking havoc in your life, and you don't even understand it. You don't know how to control it. And your doctors aren't even testing you for it, because there's so much more to your health than balancing blood sugars. It's all about making sure that that insulin and your cells don't become insulin resistant. Now, let's talk about some other symptoms that people have. How many of you know people that have symptoms like this? Abdominal. So let's talk about weight related issues. Abdominal visceral fat accumulation. By the way, you guys, if you can pinch the fat on your belly, that's superficial fat. If your belly, you can't pinch it, if you can't pinch that fat, that's visceral fat. And if you've got that visceral fat going on, that's very dangerous. And that is a sign of insulin resistance. And I'll share with you tonight how to fix that. Um, let's talk about mood and cognitive issues, anxiety, depression, irritability, sleep disturbances, and even insomnia can be caused by a disruption in this hormone called insulin in your body. And then obviously, metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, other metabolic syndromes, and even obesity are caused by imbalances in what I'm going to share with you today. Let's talk about cardiovascular issues. I just saw a bunch of this today in my practice. High blood pressure. Did you know that the number one cause of high blood pressure is insulin resistance? Why don't your doctors work on helping you get the insulin balance as opposed to helping your body, as opposed to giving your body? My little bulldog is over here, so she's sneezing. But why don't they help you find the cause of your high blood pressure than giving you medications that don't work? What about atherosclerosis? That's buildup of plaque in the arteries. Now, we know that that is definitely contributed to and caused to by insulin resistance. And we also know a recent study that they looked at over 200 carotid dissections where they removed the plaque out of the arteries, and they did a fingerprint measurement of what's in that plaque. And 50% of that plaque is microplastics as well. If you have elevated triglycerides, and that's the scary one, if you have low HDL, the supposed good fat, and if you have an increased risk of heart attack or stroke, it's probably because you're insulin resistant. Ladies, hormone imbalances like polycystic ovarian syndrome, estrogen dominance, low testosterone, and infertility in both men and women, insulin resistance. Liver issues, and listen to this, digestive issues, folks that have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which they're now getting rid of. They're saying that there's no such thing as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. They're calling it MASH, a metabolic syndrome in the liver. Elevated liver enzymes is a sign of insulin resistance. Gastrointestinal bloating and dysbiosis. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, consistent leaky gut syndrome can be caused by insulin resistance. What I'm going to share with you tonight is literally going to save your life and change your life if you'll plug in, take notes, and truly dive into this work. Neurological conditions. Alzheimer's, which is now known as type 3 diabetes, is caused and contributed to by insulin and insulin resistance. Peripheral neuropathy. I see people all the time that come into my practices. They get numbness and tingling in their fingers, numbness and tingling in their toes and feet. Their nose gets cold. Their erection doesn't work anymore. These are all signs and symptoms of insulin resistance. And then cognitive decline. You guys, cognitive decline is very, very much causative by insulin insensitivity and insulin resistance. And then inflammation and immune system dysfunctions. If you are dealing with inflammation, chronic inflammation, if you take a blood test and you have an elevated C-reactive protein or systemic inflammation or any type of autoimmune, we've already talked about how autoimmune is triggered by leaky gut. Well, now I'm telling you that leaky gut is also triggered by insulin resistance in the body. And when folks have an increased risk of cancers, especially breast cancers, prostate and colon cancers, insulin resistance needs to be looked at. And I need you to understand that not only does insulin resistance lead to those signs and symptoms, but many of you are like me, and you take lots of vitamins and minerals and nutrients, and you want to do the right things for your body, but it gets confusing. You turn around and you look on social media, every influencer is telling you, take this Vita Vegemin, take this thing here. It's not about the product, it's about the process. But did you know that when you have insulin resistance, when your body is overloaded with sugar, and now your body makes a hormone called insulin, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, if you get too much of that, the cells get they get sensitive to it. They get resistant, and insulin, which is a a key that opens the door to the cells to allow sugar to go in and nutrients to go in. Now, if you have too much insulin because of too much carbohydrates and sugars, now the cell doesn't open and you can't absorb your vitamins, your minerals, your nutrients in your food. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. This is a wild, exhaustive list. There's a massive impact on vitamin and mineral absorption and insulin resistance. How many of you found out that you needed maybe more magnesium or B12 or vitamin D3 or whatever it may be, and you started taking that religiously? But you then took a blood test again and found out that your levels only improved a little bit, not a lot. That's because insulin resistance doesn't allow absorption of nutrients into your body like it's supposed to. Listen to this. Magnesium. By the way, high insulin destroys the function of the kidneys, the liver, etc. But high insulin causes the kidneys to excrete more magnesium, which is a storage paste. It's wasting magnesium, and that leads to magnesium deficiencies, which can cause high blood pressure, which can cause muscle cramps, which can cause all kinds of low energy. Potassium, this is a big one. Insulin transports potassium into the cells. Insulin resistance impairs the absorption and uptake of that, leading to fatigue, muscle weakness, and irregular heartbeats. I cannot tell you how many people that I see that have AFib or any other type of, even POTS type related, where they're sitting, standing, and they get tachycardia. A lot of times that's a potassium issue because of secondary insulin resistance. Also, zinc. This is a big one. Zinc is one of the most important minerals in your body for immune system function, hormone function. I mean, zinc does like 300 different things in the body. It's so important. And most people are deficient in zinc, not because they're not eating enough, but because of insulin resistance. Listen to this. Insulin resistance depletes zinc through increased urinary output. You're literally peeing it out. And that's causing all of these immune system issues and leading to many other problems as well. Here's another one, chromium. And by the way, people take chromium picolinate to try to help open those doors of the cell to help with insulin resistance. But did you know that when you have high insulin, you literally, again, urinate out chromium, which causes you to crave more sugars. That's why after you eat a sugary meal, when you have insulin resistance, you feel like you need something sweet or you're not satisfied. Folks, I promise I'm going to show you how to fix this in a moment, but I'm trying to trigger to you like, oh my God, that's me. This is what's going on with me. Because if you understand that it's your issue, and by the way, it's all of our issues, some 80+% of the global population is dealing with some level of insulin resistance. This is truly the pandemic and epidemic that we can absolutely do something about, but you have to change your lifestyle and you have to change your habits. There is no magic pill. There's no magic potion. There's no magic lotion. You have to change your life. And I get it. It's easier sometimes to change your religion than it is to change your habits of eating and lifestyle. What about calcium? Women, you guys are being told all the time, you need more calcium. You need more calcium. Insulin resistance leads to poor calcium binding in the body, which can cause bone issues. It can cause fatigue. It can also cause deposits of calcium in arteries and organs. We see a lot of it in the thyroid as well. And if I see calcification deposits in the thyroid, there's a really good chance that that individual has some type of insulin resistance as well. Iron, this is a big problem. Insulin resistance increases ferritin, that's your iron storage, leading to overload of iron. I have so many people that have elevated iron in our that we see in our practices, and they come in and they get therapeutic blood draws to get the iron out. They have too much hemoglobin in their body. It's usually because of insulin resistance. This is a big one as well. Vitamin D3. Insulin resistance lowers the activation and utilization of vitamin D, which is needed for every hormone in the body and just so many things. B12. B12 deficiencies, we find this all the time. By the way, people who take metformin, that medication for diabetes, that depletes vitamin B12. Even without medication, insulin resistance causes poor absorption of B12 and B9, which is folate, especially in individuals that have the MTHFR gene. If you have that MTHFR gene, which some 70+% of the population has, you have a higher likelihood of developing insulin resistance, diabetes, and other diseases because of it. Vitamin C deficiencies, glucose and vitamin C compete for the same transportation pathway. High blood sugar, high insulin completely wipes out vitamin C and destroys your immune system. And then vitamin E, which is essential for so many things. If you have elevated A1C or elevated insulin levels, this leads to increased cellular damage because of low vitamin E absorption. It's really a big problem. And let me just say this, let me ask you this question. Have you ever tried like everything you can to lose weight, but no matter what you do, the scale doesn't budge, or maybe you feel tired all the time, or you just felt exhausted for years. Like every day when I talk to people, they're like, I'm just tired. I don't know why. I'm just tired. I'm doing the same things I've always done in my 20s and 30s, but now I'm just exhausted in my 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. If you're not sleeping well, if your blood pressure is bad, if you're struggling with mood swings up and down, or even hormonal chaos, low testosterone, high estrogen, perimenopausal or menopause issues, this could be caused by one single hormone in the body. And that hormone could have been out of control for years, and no one ever told you because it wasn't measured. And that hormone, by the way, is called insulin. And while insulin is essential to life, too much of it wrecks your health. And most people who are overweight, fatigued, inflamed, or on medications for blood pressure, blood sugar, or high cholesterol, they have a condition called insulin resistance and they don't even know it. And what I want to do is share with you some things to explain on how you can recognize it and how you can deal with it. I just shared with you a list of dozens and dozens of symptoms and diseases that are caused by insulin resistance. And I guarantee you, like a lot of you in the comments are saying, I'm reading them all here. Hey, that sounds like me. You nailed me. This is what's going on with me. Because this is what was going on with me before I figured it out. Like, how many of y'all's get up and go, got up and went? It's insulin resistance. So here's the deal. I'm going to show you how to deal with this and how to get this out of your system. But I want you to understand that insulin, its job is it's a hormone that's produced to help your body absorb glucose. Okay. So think about insulin as a hormone that goes to your cell. A cell's this little circular compound in your body. The insulin goes there. It's got a little key to a door and it opens the door and it lets the sugar in. Well, if you have too much sugar inside the cell, your brain says, hey, man, I don't want any more sugar in here. I can only handle so much before I start breaking down and causing all this chronic inflammation and ultimately cellular death and dying. And so what happens is now the cell says, hey, insulin, I know your key used to work to open the door, but like access denied, brother. You're not letting anything in, including vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and we're not letting the toxins out of the body. And that leads to a state of intercellular inflammation, which then causes all kinds of serious issues. So let's get into a little bit deeper about this. How many of y'all give me a thumbs up if this resonates with you? You guys learning something, you understanding something? This is so much deeper than just saying, here, take this vitamin, it fixes your problem. I need you to understand this. If you can understand this concept, it makes what we do together work better and more effectively. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to live a long, happy, productive, and fruitful life, I'm talking about doing what you want to do on your own terms for as long as you want to do it and not being bound to symptoms, sickness, and disease. Control your insulin. And everybody's body's a little bit different. So again, I'm getting ready to give this big presentation to a group of a couple thousand doctors on this topic. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the notes of my presentation because this will change your life forever. So listen, we already talked about what insulin is, but again, what happens when insulin is high? Listen again, I just want you to hear this. You get estrogen dominance. This leads to weight gain, it leads to mood swings. It can lead to tenderness in your breast tissues, men and women. It can also lead then to women. It'll cause you to have high testosterone. Guys, it'll cause you to have low testosterone. So ladies, if you're losing hair, if you're growing hair, it's probably because insulin is resistant. I can't tell you how many people that I've worked with that I've had them do a 45 easy challenge. I put them on the right products to help the cells get desensitized to insulin. And they're like, Doc, you're not going to believe this. Not only did I lose weight, but now I can sleep through the night. My thyroid's working better. I don't wake up with swollen joints anymore. My migraines are gone. My fibromyalgia is gone. That's because the root cause of those problems is the insulin resistance, not allowing that cellular door to open up to allow the nutrients to go in and the toxins to come out. So, also with this, it can cause fatigue, low libido, muscle loss. That's a big one. Folks, how many of you are like me, over the age of 40? You're going to the gym, you're working out, but you just can't seem to put muscle on. And when you work out, you are exhausted. You don't have any motivation to continue to work out. It's insulin resistance. Guys, I'm going to share with you some simple, easy tips on what to do to help with this in just a moment. It can suppress growth hormone, which leads to low recovery, and it accelerates aging. Listen to me. There is a enzyme in the body. Somebody write this down. Somebody write this down. There's an enzyme in the body called NNMT. NNMT. When we have insulin resistance and we have high glucose in our body, high sugars, what happens is that enzyme increases its activity. It's the aging enzyme. It's the aging enzyme. How many of y'all know people that just like, they say, gosh, that guy just aged like overnight, 10 years. It's that enzyme. So if we want to stop and slow the aging process, we've got to understand this process. So let's talk about this. Insulin resistance is caused by one thing and one thing only: overconsumption of carbohydrates. That's it. I mean, that's it, you guys. That's it. Overconsumption of carbohydrates. Now, there are some individuals who are going to say, no, that's not true for everybody. I would agree. But about 90 to 95% of the global population, the number one cause of insulin resistance is overconsumption of carbohydrates, breads, pastas, grains, sugars, juices, junk foods, all that kind of stuff. So what should we do? What do we need to do? Number one, we've got to eat real food. What is that? That's meat, that's fruit, that's vegetables. And yes, fruit does convert to glucose, but fructose is different. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something. I have personally helped patients reverse their insulin resistance for individuals who don't want high protein diets, don't want to eat meat, and I put them on a fruit diet, and that has helped. But that's only a small percentage of people. So yes, you can have balanced blood sugars by eating fruits, but they have to be real fruits. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I want you to understand this. These concepts of sugar and insulin spikes. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear, but my little bulldog is over here snoring right now. She's so cute. She probably definitely has insulin resistance. She definitely has sleep apnea. So here's what I want you to visualize. Every time you eat, just pretend there's a line right across the screen right here. This is the normal blood sugar line. Every time you eat food, there's a little spike. Boom, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. Every time that spike goes up, insulin goes up. When insulin goes up, hormone function goes down. You cannot, it is impossible to burn fat as fuel when insulin's spiking. This is why one of the most powerful things that can be done for insulin resistance is, number one, intermittent fasting. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, and ladies, I know this is a little controversial for women over the age of 40, but because we need so much protein, because women, you need so much more protein than well, men, we need a lot as well. But what happens is when you eat, when you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, here's your spike: breakfast, lunch, dinner. This is why what we want to do is within a 24-hour window, we want to try to eat within about an 8-hour window. So there's a couple rules of thumb. A simple, easy thing that you can do is say, hey, you know what? I'm going to eat my meals between noon and 6 p.m. or noon and 7 p.m. You got a 6 to 7 hour window right there. That by itself can help you with insulin spikes, because now instead of going breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner, snack, and all these spikes, you're only having one or two. And so the more we can control those spikes, perfect. Jess says I fast every weekday, 18 to 20 hours. That's perfect. So intermittent fasting. Now listen, if you are having trouble with that, if you have trouble with intermittent fasting, you have insulin resistance. So what I want you to do is instead of going that 12, 18, 20 hours of fasting, just go as long as you can. So if you're used to having breakfast at 9 o'clock, try to stretch it to 10. And then next week, try 11. And then try 12. It takes time for your body to get reconditioned and deconditioned from the insulin resistance issues that you've had for so long. So refined carbohydrates. have so just think about this. Sugar has the highest spike. Anything that has processed sugar in it has the highest insulin spike. The second highest insulin spike is refined carbohydrates, breads, pastas, grains, that kind of stuff. The third, which is a very moderate to low spike, is protein. You are not going to get insulin resistance if you're eating a lot of protein and you're eating a lot of fat. If you're eating a lot of protein and you eat a lot of fat, you're not going to have insulin resistance. And all you have to do is give your body time, because mentally, folks, you're addicted. I know, because I was too. And you get addicted to sugar, you get addicted to bread, you get addicted to carbohydrates. It's okay in moderation. If you want to binge out and pig out on that every once in a while, it's okay. But you've got to understand that things like a bagel and orange juice in the morning is going to cause a massive insulin surge. Most of you are screwing yourself up because your breakfast, which stands for break your fast, is loaded with sugars. Hear this and write this down. The number one thing that you should do in the first food that you have of a day, whether it's morning, noontime, or whenever, it needs to be protein and fat. Throw the carbs out for the first meal. Proteins and fat. Get in that process of having proteins and fat first thing in the morning or first meal of the day, and then your body's going to be looking for that. Whatever you give your body first that day is what it's going to be looking for to eat for the rest of the day. So your body's either going to be a sugar burner or a fat burner. And when you're insulin resistant, the fuel that you burn is sugar. And when you burn that fuel, there's a byproduct of that fuel. And the byproduct of that fuel are oxalates. And oxalates cause inflammation. They cause joint pain. They get into your organs and your cells and tell your organs not to work. They get into your brain and called brain fog. They get into your gut and called leaky gut. So we got to get that crap out of the system. Now, when we burn fat as fuel, that's when we have a byproduct of ketones. See, ketones heal your brain. You see, a ketogenic diet has been used for decades to help with brain fog and epilepsy and neurological problems. And once we get the body in ketosis, it can heal. It can heal itself because it doesn't have those horrible byproducts of uric acid, or sorry, of oxalates. But here's the deal. If you want to really help yourself, steak, meat, avocados, all that stuff. Listen, if you want to learn how to help this problem, I've got a free resource for you. I mean, we already put this together for you for free. If you guys go to 45easy.com, 45easy.com, somebody put that down in the chat, 45easy.com. There's a free downloadable workbook that you can download that shows you exactly what you should do. On 45easy.com, you click on that and you go under the resources. And under the resources, there's 3 tracks to follow. Whether you want to burn fat as fuel, like if you want to burn fat like a fat loss plan, click on that and follow that plan with the workbook. If you want to just reset your body and get rid of insulin resistance, follow the macros plan in the middle. Oh boy, my dogs are going crazy now. Thank you for putting that in there. And then the last, on the far right side, there's a third plan, and that sorry guys, it's real life. I'm at home in my home studio, and my guard dogs are going crazy. It's probably because somebody's home with food. But Roxy, come here, babe. But listen, the third one is to help you gain muscle, and to gain muscle at any age. So we have those plans and programs in place to do that. All right. So listen, 45easy.com, that's the place to go for that. It's all there. It's a free resource. Now let's talk a little bit more how everybody's body's different. No two people are the same. So someone may have a huge spike with bananas and somebody else may not have a spike with bananas. And now one of the things that I have a lot of my patients use, and I've used for a while off and on as well, is a continuous glucose monitor. If you use a continuous glucose monitor, then you can see what causes a spike for you and what combos of food are best for you, because self-care is the real healthcare. And the more you know about how your body responds to steak and potatoes, because like, for example, if I eat potatoes by themselves, I get a big insulin spike. If I eat steak and potatoes, which I love, and I put a bunch of extra virgin olive oil on it after I cook it, I get barely any spike at all. Barely any spike at all. And so, hey, Roxy, stop barking. It's all good. My dog is a fat little bulldog. She thinks she's so super tough. But the reality of it is that all she wants to do is lick you to death, and she wants to see if you have food in your pocket. Okay, so then getting one of those continuous glucose monitors could be a game changer for you. I really would encourage you to do that. They're not expensive. They're easy to get now. You used to have prescriptions for it, but then you can find out what foods are good for you. But listen to this. Did you know if you have sleeping issues? So listen to me. Listen. If you have trouble getting to sleep and staying to sleep, this is one thing that can change your life forever. Once you get the insulin resistance under control, your body now can produce melatonin naturally again. So listen, give me 3 seconds. Hold on. Sorry. This is my little culprit that thinks she's a guard dog. Does she look like a guard dog to you? Hey, tell everybody hi and tell everybody bye. Okay, so sorry about that. Just real life, people. So poor sleep. Poor sleep and high cortisol go together. It's insulin resistance. Okay. So if you have trouble sleeping, it's usually because you got insulin resistance. You fix this. If you'll start having for your lunch and your dinner meal, excuse me, more good fats and more protein, that will help you become less insulin resistant. And guess what? Your body will make melatonin again. So it helps your body sleep. It's a very big deal. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the other aspects of things that you can do. Now, one of the best biohacks that you can do is to use something that's an exogenous ketone. So we, in our BioLimitless ecosystem, have a formula called Cell Signal. In the Cell Signal formula, it has BHB in it. BHB is a natural form of a ketone. So when your brain and body sees that you have ketones in the bloodstream, it sees you have ketones in the intestinal tract, you have ketones in the system, your body now says, oh, cool, we're burning fat as fuel instead of sugar. This is one of the best biohacks to help with insulin resistance. This formula, I use it in my practice all the time with all my diabetics, all my patients with high blood pressure, all my patients with high cholesterol, all my patients with blood sugar issues. We put everybody on this because it's one of the best, simplest biohacks to help your body get desensitized to the insulin, and the insulin resistance can go away. This also is formulated for people who have MTHFR, which are gene imbalances. So it improves energy and it helps with insulin resistance, and it can help your body start burning some of that, what's called organ and visceral fat, off of your system. So that's a powerful, powerful tool. But I want you to also understand that insulin resistance can also be affected by the gut microbiome. You need to understand this. If your gut microbiome is not working the way it's supposed to, or if you're like the 95% of the world that has some level of what's called dysbiosis or leaky gut syndrome, which almost everybody has because of the standard American diet, because of stress, because of all these issues. So if you will start getting the right bacteria, and so this is our master microbiotic formula. We use a formula called Master Microbiotics that has the bacteria that we found in the blue zone studies. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there are regions of the world called blue zones where people typically live well into their hundreds and they're productive in life. They're still pillars of their community. They're still doing things when they're over 100. I have a couple patients I take care of that are over 100 years old, and their gut microbiome has a very consistent pattern to it. So we took those microbes that are normally in the blue zones of the world, we put a unique delivery system to it, and we added a peptide called BPC 157 that is a normal peptide produced by the GI tract in humans when you do not have leaky gut. And there are several of these bacteria in the intestinal tract that if they are deficient, you're going to have a higher risk of insulin resistance, and then ultimately leading to, diabetes and other problems. So all of my patients that are insulin resistant with all those symptoms that I just told you, the first thing I do with them is I say, hey, let's go do a 45-day reset. It's 7 simple steps over 45 powerful days. That's a free resource for you guys. Go to the website, 45easy.com, print it off, download it, You can buy this book on Amazon. It's cheaper to buy it on Amazon than it is to print it off yourself, but at least it's something you can follow. Because listen, the reason why you have these problems is because of your habits and patterns. And I think one of the most, common sense conversations is like Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting a different result. If you don't change your lifestyle, you can't out supplement a poor lifestyle. It's physiologically impossible to do that. So, what type of food plans are best for individuals that are dealing with insulin resistance? And we'll talk more nutrition in just a second. Number one, carnivore/keto food plan. Let me say that again. Carnivore/keto food plan. Okay. What does that mean? So it's eating real food. By the way, a carnivore diet kind of used to be referred to as an Atkins diet. You guys remember Atkins? No carbs, all protein, lots of good fat, good healthy meats. That's what it is. Listen, you're not going to spike your insulin when you eat a ribeye. You're not going to spike your insulin when you eat hamburger, when you eat chicken, when you eat turkey, when you eat fish. You're not going to have that. Now, yes, there's other problems with those types of foods. That's why we have other formulas to help the body deal with the toxins, but there's virtually zero insulin spike when you're eating a carnivore/ketogenic diet. Now, if you get one of those continuous glucose monitors and you monitor your own sugars, then you can see what foods are affecting you, and you can see within an hour of eating it how that spike does. And if something causes a relatively high spike, then you don't eat that, or you figure out how to get that carbohydrate to go down by eating more fat. So like steak and eggs and avocados, amazing for that. Yep. Jess is right. She says, hey, probably not 10 Diet Pepsis a day, huh? Yeah, don't do that. Diet Pepsis are not going to, and some people, they'll spike your insulin. Not everyone, but they will destroy everyone's gut bacteria. Aspartame that's in that diet soda, diet Coke, diet whatever. When I hear the word fat-free, if I hear the word diet, I think chemical shitstorm. Just remember that. Dr. Naputi, whenever he hears the word fat-free or diet, that means chemical shitstorm, okay? Because it's not good. You're better off eating sugar than eating that stuff. But if you can follow the protocols that we laid out in the 45 Easy workbook, it teaches you about intermittent fasting. It teaches you how to use the master microbiotics to improve your gut bacteria. It teaches you how to use things like the cell signal formula to get desensitized to insulin. By the way, it could take about 6 months to really get it back to normal. But then there's another deal. There's another really big thing that you need to be aware of. We've talked a lot about this over the last couple months. And that's the fact that the world we live in is filled with toxins. We have microplastics, heavy metals, pesticides, larvicides, glyphosates, all these things going on. Okay? Microplastics and heavy metals also can lead to insulin resistance because they also block the receptor sites in the cells. So if you want to live a happy, healthy life, if you want to just, what is the bare minimal thing that I can do to help myself get healthy? Number one, cut out your carbohydrates, or at least get them to be somewhere below 20 to 30 grams per day. Let me say that again, 20 to 30 grams per day. If you're a bodybuilder, if you're an athlete, if you're a high performance individual, you might need some extra carbohydrates. But for the vast majority, some 80+% of the global world, keeping your carbs at 30 to 20 below, that's perfect. That puts you in ketosis. When you're intermittent fasting, let's say you're fasting for 16 hours, eating for 8 hours. That's a great place to start. Monday through Friday, I typically fast for 18 to sometimes up to 20 hours. Sometimes I'll only do one meal a day during those times, but I'm still going to try to get my macros, and I get a lot of protein every day. I'm trying to get as close to 210, 220 grams of protein a day. So if you'll do that, you'll eat within that small window, 1 to 2 feeding times a day, combine that with low carbohydrates, and monitoring. Like Katie just asked a question. She said, do you take your glucose after each time you eat? No. I don't take my glucose regularly, but if I'm wearing a continuous glucose monitor, there's an app on your phone that you can look at, and it tells you what your sugars do. Typically, I wait an hour or two after I eat, and then I go back and look at how my body did. That's a really great question. If you eliminate the carbohydrates, it'll help heal the gut lining. It'll desensitize the insulin receptors, and then it trains your body to burn fat as its primary fuel source. And that's what you want. You got to get your body shifting from a sugar burn to a fat burn. Every single patient that I have that's dealing with this, I put them on that program. I tell them 45 easy is what you're going to be doing. And most people have to do 2 to 3 rounds of this. So it might be 90 days. It might be 3 45-day cycles. Okay. Now, I put them on the cell signal formula, 3 of them in the morning and 3 of them midday. Very powerful formula. Desensitizes the insulin receptors, helps the cells absorb the nutrients better, has the methylated B vitamins that you need, helps with ATP production. Powerful. 3 in the morning, 3 midday. First time in the morning, empty stomach is fine. Use the Detox Pro Plus. This helps get the microplastics out of the body. This helps get the heavy metals out of the body. This helps get the biofilm under control. This is anti-parasitic. This is anti-candida. Candida and parasites hijack your enteric nervous system, which is in your gut, and it makes you crave more sugars and sweets. Let me say that again. Parasites, candida, fungus makes you crave more sugars and sweets. You kill off the bacteria, the biofilms, and etc. using this. All right. Take that every day. And then the Master Microbiotics, use that with it. All 3 of those are designed to be taken together, whether they're at the same time or they're spread out throughout the day. I'm currently taking 2 of my Master Microbiotics at bedtime. All right. I'm in the middle of a detox, so I'm doing 2 dropper fulls 3 times a day for this. You got to make sure you're drinking a lot of water. A lot of water whenever you're doing this. Flush your body out. Okay. So give me a thumbs up if you guys are learning something tonight. If you have any questions, put them there in the chat. I'm going to start answering some questions in a moment, but let's talk about this. The other thing that I do with my patients, not only do I put them on the detox to deal with the microplastics and the intercellular inflammation, parasites, and etc., and then I put them on the cell signal to get the body to shift into a fat burn and get the sensitivities out of the insulin levels. I also put them on a plant-based multi-enzyme. Somebody remember that or write that down. There's a formula that I created years ago called Digest. It is a plant-based multi-enzyme. And that plant-based multi-enzyme, it helps the body digest fats, carbs, and proteins. Folks, once we get over the age of really 25, but for sure 30, we lose enzyme production. Enzymes are the worker bees that break down fats, carbs, and proteins. You chew up food and that mechanically digest it, but then it's got to go into the stomach where you should have enough stomach acid. And if you don't, that's a problem. But if you have digestive enzymes that you take with your meal, that will also help your body break it down into these little macro size, nano size particles, and you can absorb those better. That digest formula is a game changer. I've been using that for almost, 15, 16 years now, and it helps with so many problems. So put them on the digest. Put them on the cell signal, put them on the Master Microbiotics, and put them on the Detox Pro Plus. I do that for 90 days solid with them. And then I have them do the 45 easy reset protocol. There's a list of foods in here, foods that you should eat and foods that you should avoid. And I need you to get more of a keto carnivore food type plan. Now, here's what I'll tell you is the carnivore diet is great. It's just not long-term sustainable for most people. It's just not long-term sustainable for most people. So I have a lot of my patients say, I'll get them committed to 14, 21, or even up to 45 days of really hardcore carnivore. And then we can start introducing some more vegetables and things along the pathway so we can have a variety of foods. Because vegetables are good. The problem is most people will have problems with the foods. Michael says, lots of sausage and chorizo and pork where I live. Is this okay? Yes, it is, Michael. And I need to come to Costa Rica and see you guys soon. Just watch pork. I'm a big fan of all meats. Okay. I'm the son of a pig farmer from Central Illinois. So it's hard for me to bash pork, But man, pork is not the most cleanest meat to eat. Just be very careful with that. And if you're going to be having pork on a regular, please make sure you're using Detox Pro Plus because it has a higher likelihood of parasites in it, right? So that's the formula. That's the protocol. This is what we do. And what I need you also to understand is that there are genetic predispositions for this. Some of you might be saying, man, I do these things, but I still have these problems and these symptoms. That's because your body needs to be tweaked a little bit. And one of the best ways to tweak that is to run, and it is up and rocking and rolling again, is to run the DNA Discovery Wellness Kit. Because a lot of people have genetic imbalances that they don't even know about. The MTHFR gene is a gene that deals with methylation and detox. That could predispose you to insulin resistance. And there are certain lifestyle changes you need for that in addition to what I'm telling you. There's another gene called the PPARG gene. It's a fat metabolism gene. There's an APOB3 gene. That's a fat metabolism gene. All those are, if those are out of balance, then you got to change your lifestyle. There's a FTO gene, and there's all kinds of genes that if you have a problem with that you don't know about, that's why to see is to know and not to see is to guess. That's why self-care is the real healthcare. That's why we test, we don't guess. And then you can make some of those changes based off of that. Let me tell you this. There's some emerging research that's showing, listen to this, 94% of the global population has a credit card size worth of plastic in their body. Microplastics plus heavy metals are going to disrupt hormone signaling, and that's going to cause insulin receptors to become insulin resistant. So you could be insulin resistant because you've got microplastics in your body or heavy metals. You need to detox that out. So you could be saying, I have been fasting. I have been eating good food. I've been doing all the things. I've been exercising. I've been going for a walk, a 10-minute walk before or after a meal. Helps your cells become more sensitive and opens those things up, okay? They block these pathways. So the solution is remove those toxins. Use that Detox Pro Plus. All right, so let me give you my top 10 biohacks that I give my patients in addition to taking these the formulas and using the 45-day easy. So first of all, if you have insulin resistance, number one, it's a lifestyle choice. It's not a death sentence. You can change it. 45 Easy Reset Challenge, that workbook, go to 45easy.com. It's free. You can go get it. Go get it. Go get it. Number two, start now on the Cell Signal formula. Cell Signal, 3 in the morning and 3 midday. It'll give you more energy than you've had in forever. It supports the thyroid, the adrenals, the brain, all hormone function. It's specific for MTHFR individuals, which is 74% of the population. It'll give you intense energy without jitters because there's no caffeine or stimulants in here. And it helps your body shift from a sugar burn to a fat burn. Do it. Get the toxins out of your body and the microplastics and the heavy metals. Detox Pro Plus. 2 dropperfuls once a day for an adult. That's your maintenance dose. 1 dropper a day for kids. That's your maintenance dose. If you're trying to rapidly detox, 2 dropperfuls 2 to 3 times a day for adults. 1 dropperful 2 to 3 times a day for kids. Simple. The master microbiotic. You need the bifidobacterium and the specific types of lactobacillus in order for your body to produce the enzymes and help with insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance in the gut. If your gut is bad, everything is bad. Everything. Okay. 2 of those a day. I'm taking mine at bedtime. Most people take it in the morning. Then what do we do? Here you go. 10-minute walk before or after a meal. Helps desensitize the cells and allows insulin to do what it's supposed to do. Open the door, nutrients go in, sugars and everything goes in as well. Number 2, intermittent fasting. I love a 6 and 8 or an 18 and 6 hour fast, or occasionally doing 1 feeding a day. Okay. But you got to make sure that you get your macros. Lift weights, man, push weights. Ladies over the age of 40, go push some weight. You need to go do low to medium reps, 8, 10 max, but you need to do heavy resistance with that. Guys, we need even more resistance. 2 to 3 times a week in the gym, pushing weights. Your muscles contract. Your muscles are your metabolism. Getting your muscles to contract are going to reduce the insulin resistance. You don't have to go to the gym. Do push-ups. Do calisthenics. Do resistance stuff at home. That's a big thing you can do. Number 4, a lot of times, I'll recommend something called berberine. Berberine is known as the natural metformin. I might do that for 90 to 120 days with folks, depending upon what their A1C blood sugar is. If it's above a 6.5, I may put them on berberine for 90 days as well, just to help desensitize the body. There's a peptide called BPC 157 that has been a game changer for people. A game changer for people. It reduces cellular inflammation. It helps heal the gut, which is where a lot of this insulin resistant stuff starts. There's a peptide called 5-amino-1. 5-amino-1 is in my cellular reset formula. This formula forces the body to burn fat at a whole different level because of the peptides that are in here. That 5-amino-1 also shuts down that NNMT enzyme in the body. That NNMT enzyme is that accelerated aging process in the body. Eat more healthy fats. So start loading up on coconut oil, MCT oil, extra virgin olive oil, high potency, pure omega-3 oils. And those are powerful. And if you don't eat them, then you can put them on your body. I put coconut oil on my head, my face, my skin. I get compliments all the time. Dr. Eric, your skin's so pretty and so clean. Coconut oil, baby, because that good fat is necessary. And I eat a lot of good fat. After I cook I'm a big meat eater. After I cook my my foods and steaks and all that kind of stuff, I load it up with extra virgin olive oil, or I'll cook it with ghee butter or MCT oil, all those things. Number 9, get about 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Start prioritizing sleep. You're going to be blown away by how much better you feel, how much better you look, how much longer you live, how much less insulin resistance you have, how faster you lose weight if you'll prioritize your sleep. Stop eating late in the day. Stop doom scrolling on your phone, and prioritize your sleep. Number 9, hydrate with electrolytes, not sugar. Gatorade, stop drinking it. Pedialyte, stop drinking it. You need electrolytes. By the way, in this formula are 80 electrolytes. There's 80 of the 90 essential nutrients the human body needs is in the Detox Pro Plus. Remember, if you take a squeeze of lemon or a squeeze of water with it, squeeze of lemon or a squeeze of key lime in the water and a big pinch of organic, healthy sea salt, now you're closer to 90 of those electrolytes and minerals that you need. And then try to avoid snacking the best you can. And you guys, I'm a snacker. I used to be a grazer. I mean, I was raised that you're supposed to eat 5 to 7 small meals a day. I was raised that every time you come in the house, the first thing you do is go in the refrigerator and see what there is to snack. How many of y'all were raised that way? Well, now if I have a snack, I try to have a snack of fat or protein. I love avocados. I love meat, any type of protein. I do a lot of protein shakes. If you're going to do protein shakes, avoid soy, especially if you're a woman. No soy protein unless it's fermented soy. Soy is a phytoestrogen, and those cause hormonal imbalances, including cancers. And then whey protein, I don't use a lot of whey. If you're going to use whey, use isolate whey. Whey comes from dairy. It's milk based. So a lot of people have issues with that. But if you're going to have whey, have real whey. I like whey. I like whey isolate personally. But hemp protein, veggie protein, pea protein, there's a lot of good things that are out there. Okay, a lot of good things that are out there. Just get started. Like a lot of you are asking, like, what do I do? Well, number 1, go to 45easy.com, print off the book or download it for free. You got it. Go look through it. The workbook is there for you. Okay. Or go to Amazon and you can purchase it there and they'll send it to your home. Start on the formulas. Okay. Start on the formulas and get yourself going with the cell signal formula. Okay. Get yourself started on that detox formula. Okay. Start on the master microbiotics. Get going. Do a 90-day protocol. So do 245 resets. Just commit to it. And then just stay consistent. And if you fall off the wagon, jump back on. You're a human. Give yourself some grace, some patience. Listen, all these people that you see on social media, they're like, I get up in an hour every morning and do an hour of power. I work out, read my Bible, prayer, and fast. Let me tell you something. Those folks are never 100% with that. In fact, most of them are never 80% of that. You're seeing the fakeness that's on social media. You be you and live your life the way that you want to live your life. And don't let yourself be judged or put that crap out there that you should be just like every other influencer out there. You're a human being. You're made beautifully, wonderfully, and specially made. And you have greatness inside of you. and you are good enough, and you deserve to do this. And I don't want to get preachy, and I don't want to try to be a motivational guy, but you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be healthy. And if you'll just consistently do it, and here's the thing, this is what nobody wants to hear. This is what nobody wants to hear. It took you months, years, and decades to get screwed up. It's going to take you months and a couple years to really fix the problem. Don't get discouraged if you're going to the gym and you don't have a six-pack straight away, or your muscles in your legs and your arms aren't popping after even 6 months. Stay consistent. It takes about 3 years to do that. And you can do this at all ages, and you deserve to look well, to live well, and be happy and be healthy and be wealthy on your own terms, whatever that is. And I'm telling you, insulin resistance is one of the biggest culprits out there for all problems. If we can remove the toxins out of the body, if we get the insulin balance, if we can signal the cells and get that gut bacteria working together, guess what? Now we have the formula to be healthy. And remember, what you consistently do over time is the result that you're going to get. So guys, I know this is a lot of info. Give me a thumbs up if you learned something today. How many of you know people that probably should have been here as well? A lot of you are asking the questions like, how do I get the formulas? Where do I get started? Look, some of you are already in the BioLimitless family. If you're in the BioLimitless family, then go on your back office. All this stuff's there. And share it with your friends and family. Put it on social media because the results we're having are amazing. If you're not in the family yet, then get into it. And if you don't have a link, or if somebody sent you here, get that person and get the link from them so you can go buy this stuff. And if not, you can use the corporate link that we're using right now to bring people in so they can purchase. And then we're going to distribute all those folks out to the rest of our amazing community, because we have a community of influencers all over the world that support BioLimitless. And I'm telling you, there's some huge announcements we're going to be making over the next probably the next 3 weeks. We're going to be making some really big announcements. I'm excited about that. More global distribution, potentially more products that we can offer, just a more succinct system. I'm doing the best I can as a functional medicine doctor. I do a great job helping people. It's just all the other things that goes with it, right? Logistics, shipping, international crap, all that stuff. But if you don't have a link, go to, you're right there. Go to wearebiolimitless.com. That's wearebiolimitless.com. You can get started today with that. Somebody type that link in for me. And that's what you should do. Okay. Now let's go over. I'll answer a couple questions, and then I got to get scooting tonight. This is a good question. Kelly says, hey, I have someone that is on Detox Pro Plus, and every time she takes it, she has diarrhea. What do you suggest? Keep taking it. Okay. Why? Because it's getting the crap out of your body. Like, you understand that when you take something and it evacuates your body, people assume, and assuming makes an ass out of you and me, but they assume, I must be sensitive or allergic to that. I had a lady who's on the detox a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago. She comes in, she's like, my skin's all broke out. I got sores in my mouth. That's because her HPV and her other Epstein-Barr, all that stuff is in her body's trying to come out. And I said, listen, if you'll just up your oil, your MCT oil, and start sweating every day to open up your skin, that'll move like it's supposed to. So your friend Kelly, who has got diarrhea, probably their bowels aren't moving very well. Put them on the Master Microbiotic formula. Make sure that they're using the food plans that are on the 45 Easy. Let their body purge out the crap. Literally, let it come out of your body. It's got to come out. Detox is necessary. It's not always fun to do, but it's necessary to live a happy, healthy, long life. Really great question. Jeannie says, hey, do we ship to New Zealand? I'm going to make a big announcement in that in the next couple of weeks, because currently we don't, but hopefully very soon I'll be able to do that. Hey, Cheryl, I see that you're coming to St. Louis to see me on the 21st. I'm excited to see you as well. I'm local. I'm not traveling until the end of August and September now, which is awesome. Very good. Michael says, give us the best fasting rule. Number of days, how many days on, days off? Well, everybody's body's different, Michael, but here's what I like to do. I'm just telling you what I do, and it's pretty simple. Monday through Friday, I like to fast, and I personally fast a little bit more than most, okay? So I do about a 18-hour fast, okay? I eat within a 6-hour window most days, all right? Now, Saturday and Sunday, I break my rule. I have protein in the morning. I just listen to my body a little bit. But kind of a rule of thumb, real simple rule of thumb, Monday through Friday, eat your food between noon and 6 p.m. Man, if you can do that, that's great right there. And make sure you're eating those right foods, right meals, that carnivore ketogenic type of a food plan. That should help as well. Jessis says, hey, peanut butter, organic peanut butter, one of my favorite snacks. I'm a huge fan of organic peanut butter. It's a good source of protein. It's got to be organic because there's a lot of mold and unfortunately bad stuff with peanuts as well. Trish says, hey, is Irish butter a good fat? So I think it's ghee butter. I think Irish butter is a ghee butter. Look on the back of it. Make sure it's ghee, Ghee, if it's ghee butter, or if it comes from grass-fed cows. If it's grass-fed cow's milk, ghee butter, that's good. That's really, really good. All right, guys. Awesome. You guys, I really appreciate y'all, and I appreciate the time that we have together. So look, tomorrow night, I'm not doing an AMA this week. Tomorrow's Thursday. The next day's Friday. I haven't had a couple days with my family to be with ourselves for a while. So we're going to celebrate this Independence Weekend together. I'm so looking forward to coming back next week and rocking and rolling. I know you guys have so many questions. I love this community. We just need more people less sick. So guys, until we meet again, I'm Dr. Eric Naputi. God bless you. God bless America, and God bless all of you all around this beautiful, beautiful world. Have an amazing day. Stay smart out there, and let's make sure we take care of each other. You guys have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.